This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Spike and Jones podcast. This week on the show, we talk about parenting. Now, I thought we were going to be talking about how we as parents have survived, basically. But the reality is, Spike wanted to talk about how his parents influenced his life. And, that's a really good idea. I would also tell you that this week, our podcast gets very, very challenging on a number of levels. So I would encourage you to stick with it, listen to the whole thing, because there's some pretty seriously divisive topics that we talk about today. But the thing is, guys, we love you, we love people, and we want the very best for all. So again, stick with it, be challenged, and hopefully you'll enjoy this week's show. Rock and roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
We are a fresh candy cane. We are moist and delicious. We are Spike and Jones.
Is there such thing as a fresh candy cane in February? I'm not trusting that their next year's candy canes come early. I'm trusting that they're this year's candy canes marked down at the nice price.
I don't think there's such a thing as a fresh candy cane in general. I think candy canes that you got in December, they were probably manufactured in Indonesia in, say, 2005. I mean, come on, dude. Hard sugar.
Yeah.
Hard candy.
Is Indonesia the candy cane capital of the world? Do they grow wild?
I think they do. There's a tree.
Plantations?
There's a tree. There's actually a candy cane bug.
Yeah, because I won't...
like a cockroach or a palmetto bug. It's the same thing. I love that in the South. You've been to the South, right?
Oh, God.
They call them palmetto bugs.
Palmettos, yeah.
You down the street, there's a giant tree with a whole bunch of palmetto bugs. I'm like, you are high. They are big, stupid
huge
cockroaches.
Fucking cockroaches.
With like 8-inch long antennas. I mean, I've seen like 8-inch long, with the antenna included, cockroaches in the South. Seriously. I had a buddy of mine that used to chase him around when I was in the Navy. He would carry around a roll of duct tape out on the docks. I swear to God, this is true. And he would turn, he'd create a roll and he would turn it inside out, and then he would run after him and catch them. And so they'd be stuck on their backs, stuck to the duct tape. And then he would stick them on the wall of the dorm and just freak people out. And he'd just leave them everywhere. You walk around, you'd open the bathroom door you'd turn on the light, and there's a giant palmetto / cockroach
with its legs at
with its legs pointing at you, going.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. So now that you're absolutely caught up in Facebook, tell me what's going on in Spike's world this week, because baby, we are rolling.
It's all I can do to not watch this shit show. I know we always start here, but it's top of mind everywhere on everything.
That's fair.
I'm going to escort a trans kid to bathroom, I think, just for do my part.
How many trans people are there? And this is not, the last thing I want to do is go down this road.
No, I hear you, man.
But how many are there really? To me, it seems, and this is not a conservative thing at all, so don't even hit me over the head. I just feel like this is such a non-issue. Like, in other words, I'm not saying it's a non-issue pulling it. I'm saying it's just leave it alone. People are people. And to me, like Issaquah Safeway, they do it right. We don't need, and maybe this is a really dangerous argument.
We have a bathroom, there's a lock on the door.
Absolutely.
Dude, what the fuck more do you need?
That's my point.
I know.
I get it. Do people want to share bathrooms? No. Should they have to share bathrooms? No. Should anybody be able to go into a bathroom? Yes. And so here's how I see it, is at least public. Public restrooms should be done like they have at the Safeway store. To me, in Issaquah, they have 2 of them. They're man and woman.
And there's a lock on the door.
Yeah, it doesn't mean man and women go in there at the same time. It just means go in there and use it. Close the door, be private. Many times I walked in there and some dude is taking a crap because he didn't lock the door. But that doesn't change the fact that it's for both of them. It shouldn't have to say this room is available for all sexes. It should just be public restroom. It doesn't even need a man and woman. It doesn't need the superhero and the
I love that it was never a dress.
Right.
I love those.
The
cape. That's awesome.
Are you with me on this?
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, here's what breaks my heart though, because I came to the realization on this. And that when I say it's all our fault, that's such oversimplification, but it really is just that simple.
Yeah. Is it that we're white?
No, it's that I thought of it. Well, that's true, but I can't. I don't self-loathe because I'm a white guy in America with money. I have nothing. I would have all day long.
Yeah.
I'd have no more time to do anything else but self-loathe.
Yeah.
No, what gets me is that this is like 25, if I'm being generous, % of Americans who feel this way.
Feel
Literally.
what way?
That you got to keep perverts out of bathrooms and little girls.
Oh,
Yada,
okay.
yada. I mean, and that's a gross overestimation of the percentage point of view for that. But Clam Dip won the election, and he did and he did it with like a quarter of Americans supporting him,
Something like
right?
that.
Something like that. Because let's face it, almost half, if not more than half, didn't bother to vote.
Sure.
And he snuck past with less popular votes, but.
But to stop you there, wouldn't that be because the people chose not to vote, not necessarily because he actually won only a quarter of the vote? Because reality is everybody who wins a presidency wins about a quarter of the vote.
No, that was my point.
Yeah,
It's our fault. When I say it's our fault, as a population, we let 0.25% of America decide who the fuck the president was.
Right.
And so when I say that only a quarter of Americans feel this way, and that's being generous. A quarter of Americans feel that you got to keep perverts out of bathrooms because they've been delusionally misinformed that transgender people are sexual predators by nature.
Right.
And that couldn't be further from the fucking truth.
It's pretty much almost the exact opposite.
I watched this guy, Milo, whatever the buck
Yiannopoulos.
Ian Bagadushikas.
Greekicus.
Yeah, he's on Bill Maher, and he's threw that stat out that there's a disproportionate number of sexual assaults from transgender. And it couldn't be further from the truth. They're the ones that are victimized, not predators. You want to keep kids safe, keep priests out of their fucking bathrooms.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible thing to say and not fair either.
That is not fair.
But I heard a joke and I thought it was funny.
A lot have done it clearly.
When you talk about the percentage of assaults on children, the number of religious people who did it are infinitely more than transgender people.
Yeah.
But my point was that now, how can you fault these guys for finding a winning formula and sticking to it?
Yeah.
They want to get elected. They found out that these crazy ass 25%ers are the ones who actually show up to vote. Yeah. So why wouldn't you cater to them? Because you're trying to win an election.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I hope I'm not interrupting your thought, but the reason, obviously, clearly, some people are successful, like a Milo Yiannopoulos, is the same reason to me that a Kim Kardashian is famous, is that they offer such a radicalized, singular, and maybe foolish opinion, and that loud minority, not the majority, right?
Yeah.
But that loud minority uses it to manipulate their position and to increase their stronghold, their foothold. And it's only because most people are, I don't know, normal, and what I mean by this is normal in the sense of realizing, going back to moderacy, that sort of the position I take proudly, that wow, I'm probably digging a hole for myself here, but the idea that that minority is just so loud and vocal, but it doesn't speak my truth, but because most people don't necessarily go wah and yell their opinion, that looks like that's my opinion, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm not making it clear, but that's how it feels to me. In other words, if I were anything, as I've mentioned before, moderate but slightly conservative, a guy like Milo, I can see sometimes something he says that I go, oh, okay, I can agree with that. Most of the time, it's just him being a troll. Clearly.
Well, he gets off on the antagonistic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's his thing, and he's and. Like a Kardashian, and I keep saying this, they're good at it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got fucking brains.
Yeah,
and he's got
Kim
skills.
doesn't have to keep showing her ass, but
right.
she does.
Well, let's Kim's a 2-second conversation. I agree, but Milo is just he's brilliant, but evil.
He's manipulative. I don't know if he's evil.
I think he's
a narcissist.
Well,
I think
he's evil because
he
can't be that smart and not know you're full of shit.
Right.
You can't be.
Well, I was going to say, I know a whole bunch of people who think he's evil because he's gay.
Well, no. Fuck, I don't give a shit.
No, I know. But I know a lot of people go, you're right, Spike, he is evil. He's gay.
He's evil because he
possessed
knows,
by the devil.
He knows what he's doing is hurtful.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing is incorrect and wrong.
Yeah.
He knows he's speaking from a position of bullshit. He's got beliefs that he's using his platform to move forward, but he's also throwing 80 pounds of bullshit to move 4 pounds of belief down the road.
Yeah.
And that to me makes him evil.
Right.
I mean, it's when your cause is.
Well, evil seems to be such an extreme word, though.
Well, okay, but when your cause
wrong-minded.
When your cause is more important to you than the effect, the horrific effect.
Sure.
I think that's that's evil. That's fucking evil.
That's fair.
You know, when you care so little about your fellow man compared to how you care about yourself.
No, absolutely. I totally. There it is.
Yeah, that's
I agree with you
evil.
1,000%.
And I'm of the you know, the rising tide lifts all boats. We're all in this together. You know, it takes a village idiot. So I mean, you know,
to me, Milo is a lot like racism. If people would stop talking about it, I'm not saying it would go away. That's not what I'm implying.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be on top of our mind. In other words, like everybody's bringing up Milo, so guess what? Milo stays in the news.
Yeah, but you know, if no one talks about sunscreen, everybody gets skin cancer. Okay, it doesn't make the skin cancer go away.
That's actually been proven to not be true.
Oh, shut up.
We need vitamin D. We just are out in the sun too much. That's our problem. It's not about sunscreen. Sunscreen sucks ass. It's we just shouldn't be out in the sun 8 fucking hours a day.
Well, yeah, that's okay. But you get my point. I'm not going to argue the scientific merits of sunscreen.
He's smiling, everyone. He's smiling right
anything
now.
over 20% is bullshit or whatever. You know,
no, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know, and I hear you. But I was raised on the beach. I'll have skin. I mean, I've already had skin cancer twice. You know, in my life.
You pointed a mic, not a microscope.
Oh shit! Dude, not a microscope. A magnifying glass. It was I did point. I have looked at my junk with a magnifying glass before, but I was only looking for crabs. No, that's a joke, people. I've never had to do that. I used to have roommates in Ocean City that would literally put on baby oil.
Yes, my brother did that.
You know,
and
God,
and he hurt himself so bad.
Oh, I know. You know,
skin would peel
God
for
love him.
2 weeks.
I'm a total red man lobster boy when in the sun. I get a nice base burn and then I'm good.
Yeah.
You know. But getting back to how's my life, you know.
Damn that Milo.
I know. Well, you know, that's just a symptom of the disease.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this week with the whole, you know, stripping transgender kids of their protections, and you know, I see people on Facebook. Nobody should get special protections. No, okay. How about fucking equal protections?
Yeah.
You know, you idiot. How about these kids just want to be normal kids? They want to feel comfortable in their own skin, and whatever that takes to make them comfortable, it's not for you or me to decide.
Okay, so I know, and I agree with you.
Okay.
So now I'm going to ask the question that I guarantee you a ton of people in this country say. How many kids are actually not transgender but are told that, hey, it's okay to be transgender, and then they go, maybe I'm transgender.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, it's unhealthy.
Why is it unhealthy?
Because
let them try on a different look.
There are a million reasons to go down that road that becomes a dangerous thing, where people start saying, "Well, you're mixing religion with this and that." I would say that I'm going to be very, very bold here and take a very, very dangerous step, but I think it's
Milli Vanilli was the greatest act that ever.
No. I mean, I have
Nickelback.
Sorry. Everybody thought for a really long time that I was a gay man. Mm-hmm. Really, truly, seriously. And because, I mean, if you look at my friend pool, I mean, my friends, my actual close friends, let's just say I don't have 100 close friends, but let's say I have 20 close friends. Well, 15 of them are gay.
Okay.
And so a lot of people thought I was.
Okay.
And so long story short is I've had private conversations with them and discussed, not like from a religious point of view, like, did you know that you're going to burn it? None of that crap.
Right,
okay.
right.
Just relationship questions. And something that I found across the board, and this is why I'm not going to name names, and perhaps it's dangerous to talk about, but I had so many of them say, Rob, you know, in private conversations, if I could not be gay, if I could be straight, and not because of what culture says, but simply because of being sick. You know, the physical body struggles of being gay, and I'm talking about gay men, not gay women. I know a few gay women, but mostly gay men. They've all said the same thing. I would absolutely give it up. It's, for me, it's programming, and I get that, and I get why I am. But if I could be straight, just simply to be healthy, I would be.
Is it the stress of cultural?
I'm talking about the physical nature of the physical act of male homosexuality. I'm not talking about anything. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not even talking about anything gross.
I'm trying to wrap around your perspective on this. You're saying that
I'm saying they're saying this.
So there's a health deterrent to being gay.
Yes.
Now, is it from the cultural stress of having to swim upstream? If for the euphemism of your entire life?
Well, it might be.
I'm wondering what causes. I mean, it ain't just wear and tear. Right,
well,
we're not talking, and maybe it is.
There's a lot of wear and tear.
I'm sure, and maybe I'm certain that has to be a health factor.
Yeah.
Of course. I get it. And,
I've lost a lot of
there's
friends
a scene
to disease,
in a movie.
dude.
There's a scene in a movie called The Family Stone. You ever seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. When at the dinner table, wouldn't you rather that they were? I would just no parent would wish that for their child to be gay. You know, it's a.
But that's my point. Is that what they were saying to me?
It's a well written scene, and and I understand just the statement blows up in the girl's face at a family who clearly love their gay kid.
Yeah.
But
that was a really, really important. I mean, that was an important moment with her.
Well,
I was just like, I could see why she was saying it.
And she was saying it out of love and compassion.
Absolutely.
Because it's harder. Mm-hmm. God love him. It's harder.
It is.
So I get it. So and you asked earlier, how many transgender kids are there really? And we're not even going to get into, is it bad to encourage someone to just try something on?
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad at all to let someone just try something and see how it fits. I mean, God forbid somebody told me I couldn't do something I wanted to do. Something that's important as my identity.
I'd want to do it more.
To the point of how many, and now they're saying let states decide. What the fuck is that?
No, I know.
If you could let states decide if blacks should vote, I guarantee a few states would say no.
Yeah.
There are times when you can't leave. Civil rights Civil rights should not be decided by the majority. Yeah. They should be decided by the one fucking person who needs protection and help.
Yeah, no, I
and
totally agree.
If one kid is bullied or bullied into suicide, God forbid, and it's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. And
it has happened, buddy.
Of course it is. But yesterday,
Well, this just gives now all the people just can come out and yell and more.
Shit, they're pushing over Jewish headstones. You think they're not going to yell at a kid in a wig?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, did you see the thing with Milo and Leslie Jones on SNL? Did you see the whole argument?
I did not see the argument.
So do you know why Milo was banned from Twitter? At least from what I've read.
Okay.
So Milo was banned from Twitter because he started bullying people on Twitter.
Right.
I mean, granted, that's his MO, right? But he bullied Leslie Jones from SNL.
Right.
She's like 49, which is amazing. Yeah. I love that she came on the show so late. Because he was basically mocking her performance in Ghostbusters and saying that you're the most mannish black man. He basically called her a black man.
Yeah.
Right. Said she was ugly, said she was a terrible actress,
right.
all these
she
things.
misspelled a response.
And exactly. And then started knocking her on her intelligence.
She can't even spell. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Look at you and your faux black stuff, right? That's basically how he was acting, right? And of course, the internet lost its mind.
Well, sure.
And again, that loud minority now attacked Leslie.
Right.
Nigger. I mean, seriously.
No, I hear you.
And so a lot of people lost access to Twitter that day. Big whoop. But that's why Milo was banned, because he, in a sense, incited an online
can of
riot.
Gasoline. Yeah, you bet.
So I mean, I get it. I feel so bad for a guy like that, because he's so almost said Richard Tremaine. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. The actor who was on General Hospitals and Twin Peaks. Anyway, he's not an acquaintance, but it's somebody I'm connected to on Facebook, and he posted this morning, Milo, please stop. You're so special and intelligent underneath all of that vitriol. Let us see the real you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly so. This is what I want to get to too. Is that.
And he's passionate and brilliant, and quit fucking using it for evil.
Yeah. So can I finish the one thing?
Yeah.
So I wanted to say this because I know there's a lot of people who would have heard what I said a few minutes ago and misinterpret where I was trying to go with this. So I'm not gonna throw religion into it, but I am gonna say my own perspective. So me as a Christian man, I see all these people and I want to do everything I can to serve and love them, and I want to make that very clear and that's what my friends, I think, I don't want to say admired about me, but appreciated about me, is that I could be an open sounding board, but I was never a judgmental sounding board. And look, I'm a human being. Sometimes I am judgmental, but I just want to say that to everybody out there when you're hearing this. I'm certainly not trying to be, but I could understand where they were coming from, and they felt alone. And I have some family members that are gay, and they struggle with issues that are significant, and I worry about them so much because they're so ill. And a few years ago, I lost a very, very close friend who could not, culturally, because the culture could not tell anybody he was as sick as he was. Okay. And then I found out the day before he died that he was full blown. He was going away. And I didn't get a chance to say goodbye because he was so afraid of how he would be judged by the culture that he couldn't even though everybody knew he was gay, it was like, yeah, but we still couldn't talk about AIDS.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about AIDS.
Right.
We're not going to reveal that, yes, it still exists, and yes, it takes down people, right? People that we love. And it was just such a brutal and painful reminder that, wow, as a society, we hate certain people. We just hate them.
Well, and we do. We just fear them.
We fear them.
And
we
our
hate them.
Our hate is an easier manifestation than fear. It's
and,
easy to hate because hate has strength behind it, whereas fear exposes cowardice.
Right. I just hope that somebody out there listening would say, not all people who follow or try to follow the words of Christ would actually be judgmental douchebags.
Well, it's kind of against the whole nature of the thing, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Well, I think the thing that happens with with homosexuality, at least, and I can't believe we're talking about this today, but that
it was either this or Ghostbusters.
I guess so.
This is a much funnier topic than Ghostbusters.
This is way funnier. This is the best comedy show ever. Oh gosh, I just don't want to talk about this, but biblically, it always talks about sin and right, and thank you for Jesus' grace and all these other things. Yeah. But then it always says, but. There's always a but.
Yeah.
And the but is what God hopes and wants and wishes for you is that you would not sin against your body. Now, granted, this could mean a million things. This could be overeating.
Right.
This could, but where does the church go? Oh, you're putting your penis in his ass. You know what I mean? It's straight to the gay anal sex stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
No.
The reality is we're all shit to our bodies. Yeah. We're all. I mean, I eat too much sugar.
Your body's a temple. My body's an amusement park.
Right. Absolutely, my body's a temple, and I manipulate it and abuse it on a daily basis. I just do it differently than X does over here, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm equally. If we want to talk about abhorrence to God, I'm equally abhorrent.
Sure,
I'm equally abhorrent. So Christians, get off your high horse. I'm not saying be like me, be like you, but love people where they're at. Be an inspiration for God. If you believe in God, be an inspiration for God and lead people to a better life. Don't lead them out of their sin, because guess what, motherfucker? You're a sinner.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about something funny.
Well, it's ironic.
Wow. Time to do Facebook Live.
Well, no.
No, I know.
Is it time?
Well, we can. It's been about a half an hour, dude.
Well, what's time?
It's 22 minutes.
Yeah, let's wait. We told them.
So,
nobody's going to get the three.
Nobody cares.
Byron in Florida will be there for us.
Hey, I know.
I love you, Byron.
Yeah.
You're the man. It's just, God, I'm sorry I went down that road.
No, I'm glad you did. I've probably been sitting on this for quite some time. That I don't know. It's such a dangerous topic because people can misinterpret it so fast and take such offense. And I really want them to hear, like, your heart. So much of my family, Spike, are extremely right-leaning conservatives. I mean, like. Nail you to the cross type conservatives.
Okay.
Like, they just hate anything remotely touching on liberalism, let alone being a bleeding heart such as yourself.
Okay.
And what I love about you...
Let me ask you this, though.
...is that you are this extraordinary guy who has something really important to share. And you always come around to not only make your point, but you make your point with passion and compassion.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really important.
It's funny to me that the bleeding heart.
Yeah, I hate that term. I know.
Well, no, I know, but the conservatives conservative Christians who should have bleeding hearts.
I do.
I know you do, but
But most people would say I'm not conservative because I use the F word. Oh my God.
When people say when people use the liberal term as an insult to me. Who was it that said, I'll wear that all day long? Was it Kennedy, I think?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Either Kennedy or Jimmy Smits on West Wing, one of the two. One of those presidents, one of the great presidents, President Matt Santos. It boggles my mind how people of faith, and I don't mean this, and I'm singling out the example to make the point.
That's the Milo Yiannopoulos on the other side.
Well, when the compassionate Christian conservative is judgmental and intolerant, like, go back and read your fucking manual.
Absolutely.
I mean, please, you are kidding me. I'm a bleeding heart liberal and I'm godless because I care about a little kid getting abused or bullied or for worse.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm the most worst fallen Catholic on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with Easter and Christmas anymore.
Did you see how many people complained about your little post when I posted that funny little Jesus comic yesterday?
No, when I made a joke about this, why I hate religion.
Yeah, and they took it so seriously, and I was like,
fucking God!
Did you have to put a smiley face up there for people to see the sarcasm?
Yes, I know, right?
It blows my mind.
You know what, people? God gave me a sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's why I believe in God.
You would think they would know.
You would think they would get it. That I really, I don't hate religion because the Jesus cartoon couldn't save the drowning guy.
Right.
Hey, what about the fucker that drowned? Who cries for him? It's a fucking joke, Howdy. Come on.
It was great.
People really flamed out that
They did.
Oh God, for the love of God, people, step back.
I had somebody write sad.
Yeah, okay.
I was like,
whatever.
well, wait, this is like a Trump thing.
Yes, you are.
Sad.
I'd have put yes, you are.
I didn't know who it was. I figured one of your followers.
No, I got to go back and look at
KZOK.
that. I just threw a grenade and walked away.
Yeah,
That's what I
know,
do. I love it.
But I know you.
But now that I'm back on the radio, I've got to be careful because these are my customers.
I know.
And I should be allowed to my point of view for my customers.
They're not listening to this.
But well, no, I don't mean now. I mean like on Facebook. I can't be Spike O'Neill.
No, I get it.
Spike O'Neill anti-religion.
Yeah, but you did that yesterday.
Well, is this a fucking joke?
I know.
God, I mean, really.
I knew it was.
Whoever invents a sarcasm font is going to retire on an island.
Yeah.
I mean, for the love of God. Some days I write searching for a sarcasm font in parentheses just to beat these idiots over the head with the obvious.
To me, you should be able to italicize the letters.
And sarcasm.
And that would make it, people go like,
I can do that. I can do that in Word. Right. I can highlight that in Word and change my font.
Right.
Why can't I do that on my goddamn phone? Why can't I do that with my thumbs?
Yeah.
Come on, people, get over it. So
where were you going? I'm sorry.
I don't know where I don't know where I was going. I wish Christians would read the fucking manual. And I made the point. And I'm already.
No, that's okay.
I'm worried. God, I told my daughter when Captain Orange was elected that don't
you
worry.
You left your cape at home, sir.
I said, look, we'll get through this. We'll survive it. Democracy is a long-term plan. It may take us a generation to undo the 2 years of shit show that happens. And maybe I was being optimistic and generous with our ability to heal, because we're already okay. We're dumping coal sludge in streams now.
Yeah.
One of the first things they got to was lifting the restrictions on the coal industry, because God forbid that's why coal's down, because we've been worried about the air and water.
Right.
It ain't because we're fucking, as a planet, nobody gives a shit about coal.
Yeah.
It ain't because solar's tripled in its use and alternative energy sources have tripled. Yeah. It's because
there's
Jesus
a reason
Christ,
you can't see anything in China, guys.
God, seriously.
Seriously.
They want to lift restrictions on clean air and clean water. I mean, we said this before. Take a look at New York in 1975. Yeah. If you can see it. Because it looks like a fog rolled in, and it's literally just the shit we're pumping out.
Pittsburgh in 1975.
And now look at it now.
Yeah.
You can actually breathe the air in New York of all places. And God forbid that that's the first thing we had to get to. Boy, dump that shit in the stream. Thank God that's nobody ran on that.
Yeah.
But the 25% or whatever that voted for him that's what scares the shit out of me. It just scares the shit out of me.
Well,
what they prioritize scares the fuck out of me. They know they can't repeal health care because they got no solution. They spent 7 years bitching and moaning and working up the enemy, working up the other side to get that horrible Obamacare out of here. If they had spent half that fucking time coming up with a plan, but it's easier to build a mob than a university. Yeah. I've said it before. It's easier to pass out pitchforks than books.
Yeah,
and I hate going down this road because I'm a divider now. I'm not the solution. I'm a whiny loser. I'm a liberal whiny loser. A cupcake.
Well, you are, but
a cupcake
still.
Rainbow snowflake who can't get over losing because my candidate didn't win. It's not because I want my kid to have a fucking planet to live on. Right, has some water to drink and some air to breathe. That's got nothing to do with it. Yeah. It's because I'm a sore loser. Yeah. I mean, for the love of fucking God, people.
Yeah.
You can drop all this off the podcast.
No, I'm going to leave it on.
Much.
No, we're going to leave it on because this is reality.
It's funny. We talked about, and maybe it's a good time to change gears and get on a different horse. This one's going over a cliff. Much like good Indiana Jones movie. You hop on the better horse.
Sure.
I thought we should talk about parenting this week.
Right.
And this is a good reason. This is why. This is why I care. I don't care because I'm a sore loser. I don't care because I put value in integrity and conscience in my political leaders. I do, but that's not why.
Right.
How do I do Facebook Live?
I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
Okay. You do, okay. Well, I promised my clam dips I'd do it too.
Well, so
if I'm on Facebook, if I go to my phone and so we're all in this together, people.
So we're all in this
live.
together.
Oh, there's a button that says live.
Exactly.
Even a trained monkey can do this.
That's right.
And that's me. I'm a
right.
trained monkey.
Look at you. You're on Facebook Live. I wonder. No, you're on my Facebook Live.
Well, what am I doing? I got this.
Oh, you suck. Hit the X button.
I hit live. I hit fucking
X button.
You wonder why I don't bother? You make it fucking hard. Now the X won't even work.
You're like my mom. You just like you just get
never
lost.
call.
Hi, Sean. Sean's watching. So what I was going to say is...
Okay, so now what?
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to leave this in, by the way, because people love flubs.
Well, people watch me be, a grumpy old man.
Yes.
Get off my phone, you kids.
So...
Look, I won't even look.
Okay,
look,
so...
I hit live.
I'm going to keep going.
Can you see what I got on my phone?
Yes.
Facebook Live?
I'm going to put my microphone down. Here, give me your phone.
Give me your mic. I'll hold it up for you. You hold both phones. I'll hold both mics.
Well, so you have an iPhone. That's your problem.
Well, yeah, because that's never going to get anywhere. Those Apple, you people who invest in Apple, you're suckers. Yeah. You are so going down.
Okay, so there's Spike's phone. There's
Blackface of death.
No. I got you and Bruce.
That's not a racist thing. My phone screen has a black face.
Bruce Springsteen there.
Let me see. Oh, you got something besides
the... Well, I just turned it off.
Okay, that's my... Oh, you did? Okay.
And so what I'm thinking is...
There's me and the boss.
Maybe the setup.
But when I hit the thing, I get the blackface of death.
Okay, so can you hit the button? Hit your home button at the bottom.
Okay, and then hit it twice. Close out of Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go back.
And then go back in and
back
restart
to the beginning.
Facebook.
I tried that.
You got to go to the top. It looks like you're going to the bottom.
I was closing apps.
Okay. This is awesome, by the way. This is the best Facebook Live in the world.
Is this the best Facebook Live ever? Okay, so now...
There's one person
look
watching.
At me, I'm on.
There's one person watching.
No, no, I'm watching now. This is tragic shit. And watch me get... So do I just hit the live button, America?
Yeah.
Okay, world?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me Boris, the 600-pound guy on his bed in somebody's basement. That's what I get when I hit live.
God dang it!
I know, right?
Suck.
It ain't me. I just my thumb don't know how to hit
you literally are like a virus for Facebook.
I am. Okay, well, I tried, and when you ask me how come you don't do this, I try.
Okay.
If it was easy,
wait a minute. So can you close your programs?
Okay.
Okay, we got two people now watching us fumble.
We should have called the show.
Rob knows how to do Facebook Live.
I know how to push a button that says live, and it just doesn't work.
Okay, so
now if I go to Facebook, everybody, hit my little Facebook.
We're going to
app.
Facebook. Look at that. We're going to Facebook.
You help me. Now put your hands. I was like a dog.
You take my phone.
No,
because I want to be on Facebook.
Okay,
for a
you
bit.
Be on Facebook
because
Live.
I'm never on Facebook.
Here.
Okay, so
can't forget the captain.
So I'm going to write. Trying to be on
Mike's
Facebook
watching.
Live,
Sean's watching.
I'm an idiot.
You're live. Are you asking Siri why you're stupid?
I'm seeing if I can post something, and I even spelled it wrong.
I don't know why
I'm an idiot.
I don't
Look
know
at that.
I'm an idiot.
Okay,
I don't know why I'm pointing this at your nipples. I don't
live. Yeah, your phone sucks. Yeah, it does. It goes,
you know who's there? My man Byron's there.
Hey,
I love
Byron.
you, buddy. I love you. I do.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I know.
It's
okay, but at least you're on.
Maybe you've got to update it.
If I switch the camera, then I'm on.
You should do that.
What? Look at me on
at
Facebook Live with my nose hair.
Yeah,
and
look at
my
that.
nose hair.
So
okay, I'm gonna go back to Rob.
It's a lovely
We got to get to the there it is. Hi. Yeah.
I'm using a bass drum mic because I'm a cheapskate,
and it looks cooler than the devil's bunghole, man.
Well, it's like the head.
Cool.
It's like the head from Alien.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You can see that.
That's a bass drum mic. Huh?
It is a bass drum mic. It has a large, thick diaphragm, and so when I get on the microphone like this, it doesn't clip.
It doesn't Barry White you. Like
it doesn't.
Mine does. Oh baby. Oh, baby.
No. Look. If I reduce, I'm gonna take the low cut out, and all of a sudden I sound like this.
Oh, that's fucking tragic. Okay. So let's do this. Instead of showing each other what we look like, let me show you where we are, Facebook Live. We are in a conference room at the CBS building in Seattle, Washington. It's a small little conference room, okay? This used to be the center of creativity and strategy and everything else. And then corporate radio fired 2/3 of its employees because 5 companies didn't need that many employees.
So this is our view.
Okay?
So
this is our view.
Starbucks and
Right
Potbelly Sandwich Shop.
I know, right? Right across the street.
Yeah.
Rob doesn't know how to manually control control louver blinds.
don't. Hey.
It's the clear stick, or you could do that
No,
one.
I can do that.
Sure.
See, look at that.
See,
Oh
we
my
are on
gosh.
Dexter Avenue.
Look, it's a car on Dexter Avenue.
Fabulous. People are like, okay, everybody stopped watching that
Yeah,
quickly. No,
yeah.
and they're all still here. And now I'm highlighting your empty chair.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
That's great. Thank
I know,
you.
right? You betcha.
And this
this was our failed
and this
Facebook
is my
Live experiment.
This is my pants with the oil spot on them.
Yeah, that's
this is
oil.
what famous radio people do. As you can see clearly.
What is that?
Because nobody can. It's seriously, it's an oil spot. I was cooking and I forgot when I put these pants on that they have this oil spot on them.
Okay,
I mean,
have you tried treating them with a stain treatment?
But I mean, my point is it's been baked in from
all that's on the phone right now is your dick. So why don't you sit down?
it's a.
Hey,
It takes a lot of.
we're gonna
takes
need
a lot of that.
we're gonna need
video.
a smaller phone. You know what I'm saying to you?
Well, why do you have this phone then?
Because everything looks bigger.
It's still on the X.
That's my Donald Trump side
Your
phone.
phone sucks.
No,
I'm
Facebook
telling you.
sucks.
No, you
It's
got to
never-
like update something.
Well, no, let me explain something to
What
you.
is this, like an iPhone 2?
Fuck you. It's a 5, not even a 5S. Let me explain. Okay, this is an excellent segue to our topic of parenting.
Parenting.
Okay? Since I got that phone, we have become eligible for at least 4, 5, 6 new phone upgrades. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm the father of 2 daughters and my lovely wife. So who do you think got new phones in my house over the last 5 years?
The ladies.
Yeah. So, Daddy, you're lucky I'm not using a clamshell like on the Flintstones for my phone.
You and clams.
Okay?
Clam dips, clam shells.
Clamatos, you betcha. It's a sexual thing. I think it's Freudian.
Yeah. Well, and if you make a mistake, it's a clam.
Yep, you make a clam. That's right.
Right.
My obsession with clams is Freudian. But it's also back to my youth because I was raised by the ocean and
Nice.
the bay.
Nice.
And I love me some shellfish. I love me some shellfish.
We were talking about this last night. My daughter was actually asking me about shellfish, so we can talk about parenting.
Okay.
I was trying to explain to her what the different variations on shellfish were and why lobster would be a shellfish and then why clams would be a
lobster's
shellfish.
not a
I know.
well, it's a crustacean.
It's a crustacean, but people put it in the
They've got a
shellfish
shell.
category when it comes to, what do you call it?
Allergies?
Allergies, thank
Okay,
you.
Sure.
So it's not a shellfish, but
Okay.
it is a
It's so
shellfish
selfish to
with
call it a
quotes around it.
shellfish.
Yeah.
A crustacean is something that has an exoskeleton, right?
Yes. It's
And,
crusty.
It's crusty. There you go. Good memory.
Yeah.
And I'm put back to you. Oh, no, it's back to me. Now back to you. I'm flipping your phone around. I'm going to break
People
your
love
phone.
this, by the way.
I'm going to break your
They
phone.
love random, pointless bull crap. They just can't wait to watch this on Facebook Live.
Okay. So
Well,
should we-
hey, Rob, you've got 3 chins. You know.
What is if there's one eyeball? Does that mean one person's watching?
You know,
'Cause
well,
the bottom,
it'll
the bottom says how many. So there are people watching. You know,
Actually, no. The eyeball says how many people are watching, which is probably nobody.
one.
It's probably Byron. Hey, Byron.
No, it's not Byron. People are checking in. But see, the bottom says more people are watching, but the top says one.
I don't know.
Do people who watch get to see that they're the only person watching?
I
They get a
think
one
so.
on their screen
I think
too.
so.
One
But see, this is the wrong time of day to do Facebook Live because nobody watches.
Well, unless you're landing airplanes, then
working.
you should be watching this. If you're working at the tower controller, then see that you should be watching
That's
this.
when you should be doing
That's
this.
right. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Clearly, this took us
Gallows
off topic
humor.
is because we
Yeah.
are so
Okay,
not
should we
doing
stop
anything
doing this
important
then?
right now.
Should
So
we
let
stop
me.
this?
I'll bring it back. I'm going to let everybody see your handsome skin.
I already had my face.
Okay.
I haven't had you one at
Oh,
all.
Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
I know,
Hey,
right?
hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Hey,
Hi,
Byron.
Brandon.
Hey, Dave.
Byron.
I love it. Yeah, Rick.
Yes, it's a sausage party
Rick
here.
Gray,
at the
my
Spike and
bro.
Jones
It is
podcast.
Byron watching us. He said I'm supposed to be working.
Excuse me. Byron says, excuse me a second, Delta 547, you're clear for runway 8.
Well,
Please descend to 2,000
Byron
feet.
is in Florida, so there's a good
You know,
chance he is working in a tower
Damn, I know,
somewhere.
right? Okay, so yeah, I can't Facebook Live. I tried. Sorry. I'll never try again.
We tried.
You had your chance, Facebook Live.
Yeah,
I'm going to put on some Netflix on my phone.
All right. So we're going to say thanks, guys, for
Yeah.
dealing with this pointlessness, and then we're going to get back to our podcast.
Why, it's like you were in the backseat of a 75 Torino
You know-
the first night we tried sex.
You know what's going to piss me
it went
off?
this well. Mine won't work.
You know what's going to piss me off is one of these days we're going to end up having a guest in here, and we're going to have like 9 million people on Facebook Live. And the point being is that nobody gives a crap
It all
about
starts
us.
somewhere. Right. Oh, your point was, okay, that it's not us. It's not you. I just scratched my nose. Are we live?
Yeah, we are. we're done. Okay.
Okay, so you folks at home who listen to this podcast next time we try, or when this gets at the light of day, you'll wonder, oh man, I'm sorry I missed that Facebook Live suicide mission.
Yeah. You'll wonder why 8 minutes of this podcast from minute 30 to 38 was
a shit
absolute
show.
dog shit.
Absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Okay, so parenting.
Yeah, parenting.
You know, we talk about, I get all hopped up on politics, and it's funny. I have a real, I'm obsession with it. I love it. I love politics. I've often said I could have, should have gone into politics. I've loved to have gone into politics. I toyed at the last election cycle with contemplating a future in politics.
Yeah.
I know someone peripherally who is a fundraiser for the Democratic Party in the state of Washington, who's a big player, who's actually been in the White House numerous times, who was involved in the Clinton campaign on a local level. And I think I could do good things in politics, but because I have a naive ignorance of what it takes to do anything in politics,
right?
Which I think everybody.
Like how many souls you have to swallow?
Yeah, souls is a great way to put that.
Is that about 6 inches long?
Yeah, well, 1 billion of them come out of every soul at that point. So, I mean, it's funny. I just watched an interview this week with a guy who used to be a CIA, employee, a lifetime CIA employee, and he quit the CIA.
Like an op type guy?
Well, no, like not to out him. Well, he was a spokesman. He was a spokesman for the CIA.
Well, we're not going to give a name.
Yeah,
so it's
he was. I mean, the guy was a lifetime employee of the CIA who's worked for numerous administrations of both political parties, and he quit because, look, I can do more good for America, whom I pledged my life and my career to, and my loyalty to. I can do more from the outside than I can from the inside.
Yeah. Because
from the inside, I'm getting shut down. I create briefs. They get balled up and thrown in the toilet in the trash can so that whomever can tell the president what they want him to hear.
Right.
He's a useful idiot, not just to the Russians now, but to the alt-right wing of our own party, his own party.
Yeah.
Who's being controlled by somebody with no governmental experience, and the only experience he has is being a fucking rabble-rousing, hate monger. And I'm speaking to you, Steve Bannon. For all your political leanings, if you're a conservative, how the fuck can you stand by and watch this shit happen? If you're a Republican member of Congress, how can you stand by and watch that shit happen?
We're in the fourth turn.
I mean, it's bananas. So as a parent, I care because I have kids.
Yeah.
And I want the best. We should all want the best for our kids.
Yeah.
And we're halfway down the track now, and just getting to the topic. And when we contemplated deep sixing parenting, I thought, we'll have to go back. We'll have to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Much like a Princess Bride, you got to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You are the parent. You become the parent that you survived. How's that for a prolific piece of toast? Right.
Well, it's better than bans creating our moral and ethical environment.
I still believe that. I still believe that's true.
My wife goes, "What?"
Yeah, I know, right? I'm so full of shit. My eyes should be brown, but they're not.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go back down that because I didn't clearly say what I meant to say, but I think that your taste in music reflects your moral compass.
No, it totally does. It totally does.
And not to go back down there, but your parents do the best they can, and they're just learning it as they go too.
Yeah.
And they're trying to take the sandwich they were given and make something out of that for the next generation.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our folks.
Oh.
If we're going to talk about parenting, let's talk about our folks.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
So before you go, I want to say something. Just one sentence. A friend of mine years ago, I met him. He's much older than me. He's actually a year older than my father was. But I became friends with him. He's a ski instructor, etc. Anyway, he said, "You'll never know how much your parents love you until you have kids. You'll just never know." And it's so true. I mean, I love I have 6 children. I love my children tremendously, but I never really got how much my parents loved me until I had that first one.
Who's your favorite kid?
Oh, that's easy.
Good for you. That's the only good answer. Oh my God, that's
it's
awesome.
The one listening to this podcast right now.
It's you, and you know who you are. That's brilliant. And I want to say right now that our parents do the best they can. And they have our best intentions at heart. And I want to acknowledge how lucky I am to be able to say that, how lucky I am to be able to think that and feel that way, because a lot of kids didn't have that or don't have that.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
A lot of parents are parents not by choice, and a lot of kids are treated not as the treasure that they are, but as a fucking inconvenience.
Yeah.
And that's horrible. And I just want to say that I truly understand how lucky and blessed I am to be able to say that.
Yeah.
That my perspective on parenting and my perspective on my parents is I hope not rare perspective to hold. I hope it's the vast majority of perspective of people hold that perspective.
Hope.
I hope so. I know it can't be true. there's just too many instances where the opposite is true.
Yeah.
And that's,
I've heard that over and over.
yeah.
Right?
I mean, of course.
Man, you're so lucky how you grew up. And I'm like,
I know, yeah.
I am.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I took it for granted, and I wish I hadn't, because both my parents are gone. My stepdad's alive, God love him, and I don't.
And you don't see him like a stepdad either. You see
No,
him
he's
as
my
your
dad. He raised me,
Yeah.
and I don't take advantage or appreciate the relationship as much as I should. I don't spend enough time in contact with him as I should.
Yeah.
And
his love for Trump should not trump you.
No, and it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, everybody, God, shit. He likes crappy music sometimes too. He doesn't. He loves good music, and he formed.
So he likes Shining too.
No, he hates that shit show. He likes Chicago.
Oh,
He likes ELP.
He's got great taste.
He's got great taste.
Yeah.
He likes rock and roll. I was in a car singing old time rock and roll with my dad.
Wow.
In the car driving around with my dad, my stepdad, my dad.
He's your dad,
He's
dude.
my dad. I know, but my biological father passed away when I was 9.
Yeah.
From stomach cancer and liver failure. Eventually, and he was just an
Was he a
Irishman.
drinker?
He was a bartender.
Sounds
He was
like
an
it.
Irish bartender. I don't know if he was I don't know if he was a drinker. I don't know if he was a drunk. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I never heard that about him. But I never really got a chance to get to know him. I thought about that as we floated this topic for the week, going back to the parents. And we'll talk about if we don't mind, we'll talk about my dad's for a few minutes now. Then I'll get to my mom. My bio dad was my dad. God, what the fuck are those terms? Those labels? My father, James Leo O'Neill, was an Irishman who was, I think he cheated on my mom, and that's why my folks got divorced. Maybe that's why they got divorced. I know that he was just a guy. Yeah, he was an Irishman. Got him. He fell in love every day. I'm sure he did. Because I do. And doesn't mean I'm a cad. I know right from wrong, and I know what's important. I know that there are boundaries. Yeah. But I fall in love every day. I fall in love walking down the street. God, that's what you do. I'm Irish. And my dad, all I remember about my dad are the peripheral, memories of spending time from a divorced family. My mom divorced him early. My mom was a single parent, and we would go spend time with my dad. A week's vacation in the summer, 2 weeks vacation in the summer, weekends, that kind of thing. And him doing whatever he could to have a good time with us, make us happy, yada yada. And by all accounts, everybody who knew my dad loved my dad.
Yeah.
And I'll tell one quick story about my dad. And it was 20 years after his death, if not more, 24, 25 years after his death. I'm tending bar one night in Baltimore at the little neighborhood tavern that I worked at after my parents sold the bar that we had as a family. I was working for the bar up the street in my neighborhood. And I'm at the bar one night, and it's a slow night, before it got busy, and 6, 7 o'clock at night, and there's a couple at the bar and a couple others at the bar, and I'm talking to this couple, and they're nice enough, but they'd never been in before, and God, we know you from somewhere. Where have you worked? Oh, I used to work here, and I used to work there, and I worked down the beach. And figures, no, that's not it. Blah 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 blah. What's your name? Well, Jamie. What's your just not name? O'Neill. And their jaws dropped. Their jaws just dropped, and they looked at me like
Seen
they
a ghost?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, your dad was the bartender at the Woodshed Lounge in the late 60s, wasn't he? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you're him. You walk like him. You talk like him. You laugh like him. You got the same sense of humor he does. And this was 20 years after my dad died, 23, 4 years after my dad died. And, you can, the heredity, a nature-nurture thing. Yeah. I mean, these people literally, their jaws dropped. And like you look like him, you talk like him, you walk like him. It's like he's standing behind the bar. It's like it's 30 years ago for us. And it just blew my mind. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Can I share something about that?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's about my side. It's very, very similar. My birth grandfather, my blood grandfather, I never met because he died in 1950. When my mom was 8 years old. And so, I've never seen pictures of him. I never really knew anything about him. And then maybe in my 20s, my grandmother found some pictures of him. His name was Bud Perkins. Okay?
Great name.
Yeah, it's a great name. Actually, it was, what was it? Perkins. Anyway, Bud Emery Bud.
That's an even better name.
Right.
You just took it up a notch.
Yeah, and so she showed me a few pictures, and he had the mustache, and I was in the Navy at the time when I'd seen this, so I had this sort of similar look, and it was kind of creepy, right? And I went home. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I got a piece of mail. And it was a little card from my grandma saying, I just wanted you to have this. And I open it up and I look at this picture and I go, when did I take this picture?
Yeah.
And because,
Yeah.
like beyond, like I'm proof. If reincarnation is real, I'm proof, right?
You were not adopted.
Yeah. And I just look at it and I'm just like, wow. And I looked at it because the way I'm tipping the head and why am I standing like that? And why is it in black and white? And, it was just really, I could not digest it for a second. And I flipped it over and it said Emery Bud Perkins, 24 years old. And I'm 24.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I just was like, oh my gosh. And so I called my mom and she said, when you were home visiting us last month, when you walked into the room, I watched Grandma transported into 1942, just looking at you with this like shock and right. And like
I hear you,
the
man.
pain of that welling up and all that stuff coming up. So I really longed to meet him, and of course I've never met him. And then my grandmother died a year ago, and when she died, there were all these trinkets that she had never made public to anybody, including my grandfather Emery's pinky ring. And I have it at home now, and just this cute little ring built in, made in like 1922.
Nice.
It says Emery on it. It's cute. It's very old school, right? Yeah. I went to Portland last August to visit a buddy of mine down there, and on the way, I stopped in Centralia because I found out where my grandpa Bud had been buried that I never knew. I was born in Chehalis. I didn't know he was buried in Centralia, and I drove to the cemetery and walked around the cemetery until I found his headstone. And I bawled and bawled and bawled. I could not believe how much emotion I had for somebody I never met because I longed to know this person that I lost before I knew what was what. That's an amazing thing how family works like that. Is. And I'm sorry for the long aside.
No, not at all.
But
not at all.
What I love about you, Spike, the greatest thing about our friendship over this last year has been that I was quickly allowed into your life as somebody that you would pick as a friend. And I was able to discover that real you because you were so open to how you grew up and where you grew up and what you came from. And so this topic is really powerful because you can see your heart is just giant and it comes out of your eyes. No, it's really, and I wanted to say that not to blow smoke, but just to tell you, I really admire you and I really, really appreciate this. And I think that even though there's times when we're not funny and there's times when we're serious and maybe even combative, people recognize our care for each other and it comes from your parents. So yeah, you don't think you have to worry about classifying who's who. Just you came from great people. Whether you knew your dad or not, you came from a great dad, and you came from a great stepdad.
Let's talk about my dad who raised me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ike. Frank Eichelberger.
Yeah.
Not Irish.
Yeah. I wonder where that name.
Yeah. Ike.
Yeah. Did he have an SS patch on his?
He came, you know what? I know. I'm going to just let that one go. Ike came to this country as a teenager from Regensburg, Germany, outside of Munich. And he was raised by a stepfather, ironically enough.
Okay.
And Ike came to America, American GI, met Ike's mom, Irene Weiss.
Wow.
And
that's like old school.
Yeah. And Ike's dad was a soldier in Germany, U.S. soldier in Germany, met Irene, and they moved to America with 3 kids. She had 3 kids.
When did they move to America?
In the early 60s.
Wow.
So Ike, at the age of 18 in a day, enlisted in the U.S. Army
Wow.
and went to Vietnam
Wow.
and did a couple tours in Vietnam.
That's commitment, man.
Yeah. And Ike came home and met my mom, who was a divorced woman with 2 boys. Ages, I'm going to say 5 and 6 and 7, somewhere in there. Okay.
So you knew him before your birth father passed away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My folks were married before my bio dad passed away. My real father passed away. And I hate it. I'm sorry about the labels. I hate them. I use them for clarity only.
Just your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was, and here we were 2 hellions running amok on my poor mom, who was trying to live, as a single woman, dating, working, raising 2 kids. And Ike stepped in and just threw the hammer down. Ike was a spanker. Ike was a punisher. He was a grounder.
Yeah.
When I say punisher, I don't mean that in any derogatory.
But in a loving way, I'm assuming.
Well, we didn't think so. I hated him, because he was disciplined. He was the embodiment of discipline. A German veteran who, wouldn't take
basically me.
Wouldn't take our shit. And as you grow older and you start to get a perspective on life and the world, you realize that he gave you just what you needed.
Sure.
And the only sense of morality that I have, I think, comes from him. And I hope I'm a moral person. I hope I have some compass for good and evil. I'm sure quick to judge and label. But I got that from him.
I think you're quick to judge because you do have a moral compass.
But being judgmental is not a very good thing to be. I throw it around pretty fast. I'm fast to judge. But because I think I know what's right, wrong, at least for me. Yeah. And and I like to call people out if I don't think they're living up to my standard of right and wrong.
Yeah, I think we
clearly,
learn
Milo, you evil fuck.
Yeah, I think we learn how to be what Christ would say is agape love, right? We learn how to love despite differences. That's not something that I don't think is born into you. You learn, you develop it. How to let things go, how to appreciate people regardless of your wildly varying stances or their failures to you. Like I know people, I'm not going to go off track here, but I definitely know people who have definitely quote unquote wronged me in the past and that I've let that go. But
we have to take another whole deep 6 on grudges.
Oh yeah,
I know. That's fucking week's worth of fun there, man.
That's your dangerous spot.
I can't wait to get to that one, folks.
So anyway,
we'll front sell the deep 6 grudges.
Incredible father.
That's the whole story on Ike. He married my mom, and they had a rocky relationship, but he hung in there. I mean, I can remember fights at night that would wake up the kids. We all have lived through that.
Mixed marriages are tough, man.
Well, they are, and and they had a couple. My folks had kids after they were married, so I've got younger brother and sisters, and they're still around, and they live in Florida too with Ike,
with Byron.
Yeah. So, Ike gave me what I needed. He gave me a parent.
Yeah.
He gave me a father.
Yeah.
And all the resentment turned to respect when I got a sense of perspective. And I think when I try to raise my kids, he's had a huge hand in what I do from that perspective. And I know I've been hogging the time, and I apologize.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
We lost my mom a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and she was living down in Florida, and I was vacant in our relationship. I'd talk to her not often enough by phone, and I'd go see her not often enough. She moved here for a little over a year when I turned 40 and was diagnosed with cancer. And my brother moved here with his kids. Right after my diagnosis, my brother said, screw it. I'm not going to see you every other year anymore. I'm moving there, bringing my family. And he did. And I called my folks and said, well, I got all your kids now. I got all your grandkids are here. Uh-huh. So you want to move out here and see them, or you want to stay there in Florida and see us every other year? So they moved out here. My mom and dad moved out here. My mom lasted a couple winters and had to go back to Florida.
Lasted.
She did.
Withstood.
She weathered a couple winters, if you will, pardon the pun, but couldn't take the season-affective disorder.
Yeah, it's significant.
It is, and it's real.
Yeah.
Washington has the highest incident of breast cancer and
heroin
MS.
addiction.
and obviously MS.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a physical price to pay for a lack of vitamin D and sunshine.
Yeah,
not just from the psychological, and it
I
manifests.
take 10,000 IU every day.
Do you really? Good for
I take
you.
just a jack load because
You have to.
Yeah.
I don't. I should. Anyway,
you should.
my mom was, God love her, man. She put up with everything. You know, she did. She put up with everything. And she had a wonderful life. Ike provided for her, but, you know, Ike was a PTSD veteran who had to move a lot. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
You know, Ike would nail the windows shut in our house. Nail them shut. Because he just didn't feel safe. Yeah. We'd get up in the middle of the night and walk the perimeter of the house in the yard at night. Just because he didn't feel safe.
And
Never felt safe.
And it was the perimeter.
Yeah.
Right.
And Ike made friends and then lost those friends and broke off friendships. And we kind of never knew why growing up. He had a few friends and family that were always there, but he would make and discard friends quickly. Because as a veteran with PTSD, you can't get close to people because you know how that turns out.
Yeah.
You know, so
like the movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. And God love him. He survived that, and Judy, my mom, survived all that. You know, I regret wasting the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and now that she's gone, it's funny though. I tell people that I think of her more and talk to her more now that she's gone than I ever did when she was alive, and I think that's true.
Yeah.
You know, She's always when I need her now, always, and it's easy to get to her. Just think about her. You know, ask her something. I'll get an answer.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, you know, survived. God love her. And then, you know, she was down in Florida and she went in for a pretty routine operation and complications ensued. And a couple of days of, no, you're fine. She's, you know, don't come down. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. That turned into, you got to get here now.
Yeah.
And she passed before I could get there. You know, I was in the airport heading to Florida and my dad called. You know, and I got to Florida after my mom was gone. You know, and that's, you know, those are tough things to get through, man.
Yeah.
You know, but don't feel bad. You know, that's of my own doing, and that's, you know, God's plan, I guess. You know, now I appreciate things more when they're, you know, you don't know what you got till it's gone. All those little sayings.
Yeah.
You know, whatever shit band made a lyric out of that one. You know,
Emphasis.
Yeah. So, I mean, but my mom taught me that you love unconditionally, you know. Ike taught me that you know, trust but verify, you know. These are the things your parents give you.
Sort of two extremes.
You know, yeah, I mean, but that's a good set of parents, you know, when you've got a yin and a yang. I guess all parents, I think, in my case, in my experience, parents are a tug of war.
Yeah.
You know, and you try to get the best of both worlds and make soup out of that. And,
right.
You know, and I know my wife and I have different perspectives, and sometimes her overzealous, you know, sets of rules and beliefs I have to kind of try to compensate and push back from. And that's dangerous because you have to have a unified front as a parent, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
Before we move on to your parents, and I want to let you
No, we don't have to move on to my parents.
No, I want to hear, and folks want to hear, and you deserve, you know, shit more than me. I want to tell you how my parents met.
Yeah.
And I may have told you this already. It's a cute story.
No, I don't think so.
You know the movie Hairspray?
Yeah.
My parents were on that. And when I say my parents were on that, I'll tell you why. And I got to tell John Waters this.
Oh, you did tell me.
Yeah.
You did tell me. This is a cool story, so share it again.
So my folks were a dance couple on a Baltimore dance TV show in the 50s. It was the Buddy Dean show in Baltimore, which was a local version of American Bandstand. And when American Bandstand broke, all the local channels, all the East Coast cities, you know, you do a local version. And Baltimore had the Buddy Dean show. And Jimmy and Judy were a dance couple that met on the Buddy Dean show and got married and fell in love and had kids. And the Buddy Dean show was the basis for the Quirky Collins show that John Waters made into Hairspray.
Right.
And so when my daughter watches Hairspray, my 13-year-old now, when she watches Hairspray, God forbid the John Travolta version, or
which isn't terrible.
It's not, but watching him do that was just painful to watch.
I agree.
I mean, you know, and it's a better movie than the original, I guess. If you're looking at the quality of movie making, I like Divine.
Yeah.
You know, I love the John Waters original because it is Baltimore. They film it at Gwen's Park. You know, I mean, or Gwen's Falls.
Ricky Lake is awesome.
Ricky Lake was fantastic. Was just fantastic. And Divine and Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
And Blondie and Sonny Bono.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, that's a great piece of work, man. It's a great piece of work.
Yeah. It's not as good as Crybaby, but it's close.
I love Crybaby too.
I love Crybaby.
Yeah, man. You know,
Depp.
he was in town last week and I missed him.
Who?
Waters.
Was he?
Was in town. I'm watching Bill Maher on TV, and then John Waters made a reference to being in Seattle. Huh. And I'm like, oh, and I missed it.
Yeah,
and I
friend
knew it.
Rolf
I knew it, and it
was
came
on.
and went that
Yeah.
quickly, and I missed him coming. But I got to meet him twice. We interviewed him on the radio on the Bob Rivers show, and I got to tell him that my folks met on the Buddy Dean show, and that
Nice.
put a smile on his face. And that movie always has a really special place for me.
Nice.
Because of that.
I love that moment. I can't remember the name of the movie all of a sudden. And they're like looking over, they go, no teabagging, stop teabagging. And it's because they're in the bar, they're in a strip club,
Yeah.
and there's men behind
Yeah.
them, like just dunking it, you know. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. And let's talk about the Jones side.
Yeah.
You know, my parents, I'm sure I've shared this a million times too, and anybody who's listened to the podcast about my father passing away last August would have certainly heard stories. And if you haven't, well, you should check it out because I think it's pretty cool. My dad was a maniac in the best way. Quiet though. I think the struggle I always had, and after losing my father, and I have said this a lot recently, is that what I long for is the father I never had. It's not the father I had. I miss my father. I mean, he was wonderful and funny and weird and quiet and all that stuff. But what I miss from him are those little things that you Americana says a dad is, like teaches you how to, I don't know, build a house. Teaches you how to build a fence.
How to swing a hammer.
Teaches you how to swing a hammer.
Yeah.
Teaches you how to run a cable.
Yeah.
Teaches you how to fix a motor.
Yeah.
My dad did all those things because, he learned those things as a child.
Uh-huh.
And he recognized clearly in me that I wasn't interested. And to be frank, it's kind of like your thing saying, I wish I had done this. Well, I wish I had hung out with my dad and learned all those things. But the truth is I didn't want to.
Right.
But yet now as an adult,
Yeah.
I mean, the zombie apocalypse comes, dude.
Yeah.
I'm the first one eaten, guaranteed. I mean, I can run really fast, and I can run up that hill.
That would make me the first one as you get away.
Yeah, and I can shoot a gun.
Right.
But if you're asking me to clean a deer and to cut the testicles off first, somebody else has got to do it.
Right.
It's
I hear
just not,
I hear you.
it just can't do it. And so, yeah, my dad, my mom raised me in a lot of ways. My dad, he wasn't a tough guy, but he was certainly tough in the sense of, he was capable of all that stuff. I just never had the practice, so I do long for that. But my parents were really, really different. It's funny, as an adult, I look back at them, I see them so different than now, especially having experienced them in the last few years of my dad's life. And they, granted, they were going through a lot of chaos at the time because my dad was ill and, and the frustrations and the fears that come with all of that stuff.
Was it a prolonged illness?
Well,
A couple of years?
yeah, I mean, he got, he had a heart attack. That's a great story. He had a heart attack, and then when he had the heart attack, they went in to do surgery for him. They had to do a quintuple bypass.
Wow.
And the doctor told him, I'm not going to do he had survived the heart attack, so it was then, hey, Bob, we're going to do this surgery on you, but I need you to promise me you're not going to smoke. Because if you smoke, I'm not going to do the surgery.
Right. Not going to throw this
I'm
away.
just not going to do it. Because guess what? You have like 85% necrotic heart tissue. I've got very few places to plug the, your bypasses into. Uh-huh. So this is your only shot.
Yeah.
Right? It was really tough with my dad. My dad never smoked again. It was
Good.
great.
Well, good.
But what was interesting was at the day he had surgery, I went down to Olympia to be with my mom and my cousin and my grandma. And we're sitting there in the hospital, and there's all these people in the room, because this is the heart surgery waiting room, right? There's 20 people sitting in the room. And all of a sudden, all of us heard, code blue, room 14, code blue, room 14. And everybody in the room was like, is that my dad? And I started joking. I go, oh, don't worry, everybody. It's my dad. You know what I mean? Can just say, it was my dad.
Shit.
Now, fortunately, they resuscitated him, and he lived another 12 years or 10 years. I mean, so that's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So my dad was the guy who got sick and sick and sick and sick and withstood them all. Had a heart attack, had diabetes, had emphysema, had you name it. That was my dad, and yet he withstood it all. So when he got cancer, we're like, well, he'll be fine.
Right.
And he got pancreatic cancer. That's the one that kills you.
Yeah.
Like either death sentence cancer, right? And so he asked me, if you were me, what would you do? And I said, Dad, I'd live the remaining days. I wouldn't have surgery. I wouldn't have chemo. I wouldn't do anything because, you see all these people that get sick.
Right.
And they feel terrible and then they die anyway. So Dad ignored my advice.
Okay.
Went and had chemo, had surgery, and was absolutely in remission and super healthy. And I was like, oh, I'm such a dick.
Right. Well,
I told my dad you should just die. And he lived another 3 years.
Wow.
So when he had the recycle, right,
Yeah.
when the cancer inevitably came back, it came back in a number of spots. And that's
does.
when we knew, okay.
Cancer's a fucking evil thing.
Yeah,
man.
we knew-
Cancer learns. Cancer adapts. You know?
It was in his bones, and then it was on it. Though they found not a node, but they found some in his colon, and then they found some in his back, and I'm like, oh, okay, and now we're official. Now we're metastasized.
Yeah.
So, but leave it to my dad. He was one of those guys who he never wanted any sympathy. He didn't want you to feel bad for him.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's a tough old coot, and
he raised a family, man. He'd provided.
Yep, he got super, super sick and more sick and more sick and more sick, and then he stopped eating. And in June of last year, he and Mom came to the house, and I hadn't seen him. I was at work. I hadn't seen him in maybe 2 months, and I was like, I'm going to stop. And I was driving a truck that day, and I pulled up in the house, and I came inside, and he's laying on our couch, and he's got a blanket cover him because he's so cold, because he just had lost weight.
Right.
And so I'm talking to Mom, and everything is normal, and everybody's acting normal. And dude, I was like, Dad, I got to go back to work. And I went around the corner because he'd been sleeping, and I said, I wanted to see how you're doing. And he goes, he's laying on his back, and he goes, I'm okay. And it was just like that, right? And I go, really? Are you okay? And he goes, well, I'm pretty weak right now, and just the drugs have been tough. And I go, okay. And he goes, so you help me? The old man voice, right?
Yeah.
Will you help me? And will you move me? And I said, yeah, sure. Let me pick you up or move you as best I can. I put my arm underneath him, dude, and his legs.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like 8 inches around.
Yeah.
It was like Jewish Holocaust stuff. I mean, it absolutely freaked me out. And I that was the moment I realized, holy shit, my dad is going to die. Yeah. I mean, it just hit me, and then I looked at his lips, and his lips are pulled back on his chin. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like I realized how emaciated he really was. Yeah. And that was the moment. I go, Dad, and seriously, I told my wife really quick, I got to go. I got to go now. I got to go. And I just ran out to the truck and just cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And cried. Yeah. I'm driving down the freeway, and I call my brother, and I go, Mike, you got to come home. You got to come home now. They're not telling you the truth. You got to come home now. And I just cried and cried, and he goes, what's wrong? And I go, Dad's dying. You got to come home. And he came home, and then, obviously I'm still emotional about it. It hasn't been long enough yet, but
it never will.
At least I got to say goodbye, and I got to do all those things that I really wanted to do. And I had a really, truly great, when the last time I did see him in person, I got a good 30, sounds silly, got a good 30 minutes of just hugging him and telling him how much I loved him and how much I appreciated him and crying with him. And I waved goodbye, like straight out of the movies, dude, and I think I told you this. He said, because he always got up and walked out the door and waved at us, and so I turned around, and he was sitting in the chair, and he said, "Have a good trip," and I said, "You too, Dad." And it was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny, and I knew it.
Did you get your sense of humor from him?
Yeah.
Good.
Dad was the fart king.
That was explaining your kids having their nose in your butt.
That explains
really would explain.
It explains the butthole game.
Yeah.
I did it last night, by the way.
God, I love you. Of course you did.
And boy, did that kid bury his nose in my ass.
Hey, listen, thank you for thanks for opening yourself up like that. I know it's not easy and it's much too soon.
Yeah, it's okay. I love him. He was a neat cat. And my parents, so I'll just end with this, at least this part. I was raised in a good, loving home, and they did their damnedest. And I know there was times that they didn't feel
they did without, so you could.
Enough.
Ain't that the truth?
They always gave up to us. I mean, it was amazing how much they did that, and it makes me realize what a dick I am because I am such a selfish prick.
Well, come on. You've got selfish tendencies. You're a decent prick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're a decent prick with selfish tendencies.
But Mom, I know you're listening to this, Mom, and I love you so much, and you're a great mom, and you've been a great grandma. I don't know how much time you have left. If you've got to roll, it's
almost noon. We're okay.
It's still early, so we got a little bit yet.
Yeah. You bet.
Good.
Now I'm going to end on this.
Can we talk on the other side of it? I really want to talk about
kids,
about you being a dad and what it's like to.
Well, that's another whole. Okay.
Can we do a little bit on that?
Yeah, we can cut out some of the political bullshit I had to spit out before we could have fun together.
I can wipe the tears.
No, that's all good, man. You want a tissue?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I prefer the raw, brawny hands of a master craftsman.
It's funny. I think I'm of course I'm more like my mom than anybody. Even though those folks told me I walk, talk, laugh, and smile and joke like my dad. My dad's sense of humor, but I got my mom's compassion.
Yeah,
I think. And I talk about Melissa and I kind of yin and yang on our parenting styles. I don't know, I guess I get that from my mom because my mom was always, as all moms are the soother. All moms are the negotiator.
Yeah.
Moms are the mitigator of, he does that because he loves you. He's only, that's
so true.
Ain't that the truth? I mean,
he hits you because he loves you.
Yeah, and you know what? It's comedic, but ain't that the fucking truth?
It's the truth too.
It really is.
My wife hates that I do that. Like smack, whop him on the butt. Tell him to stop.
It's my older daughter, Ryan, who's 28 now, and a wonderful girl, just a wonderful girl, but coddled and ill prepared because that's what I did to her, for her, to her, air quotes.
It's all your fault.
It is. I mean, we try to learn. You try to learn as you go. I mean, we were lucky that. I mean, we tried to have a second kid. I've told you this story too. We tried to have a second kid and couldn't. And I found it was my fault. I had low motility because I'd used my nuts like a speed bag growing up as a teenage boy. So I think speed bag. I think you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and all the pot that I smoked. I guess that had a little something to do with my low motility. And we'd given up on having kids. And then we got blessed, and I got testicular cancer. And I swear to God, I told you this story too. When the day they told me, well, Monday you've got testicular cancer. We're having surgery on Thursday. We're not checking if it's malignant or benign. We're just taking it out.
Yeah.
Because nuts are redundant. You don't need to.
Yeah.
So they told me on Monday I had surgery on Thursday, and on Tuesday we got pregnant.
It's an amazing thing.
We had Darby, and I should have called her Mulligan. Because it's a do-over. My kids are 14 years apart,
Yeah.
And I'm Ryan's stepdad. I met my wife when Ryan was less than a year old, and I fell in love with both of them and took that on.
And isn't that funny how that works?
My dad took that on, and I took that on. Exactly.
You saw that and you said, I can do this.
Yep. And my dad was raised by a stepdad. If you want to go back even further, Ike was raised by a stepdad.
So great.
That's what, that's...
Those men that intervene, they're the best men because that is such a tough gig.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
I haven't had to do that, but that's why I love my wife so much because same thing, how she takes that on.
I saw somebody post something once that said, stepdad, step up.
Yeah.
And it's couldn't be truer.
Yeah.
At least I hope, for myself. And I know my dad. I speak to that. My dad did that. But I never let Ryan hit the floor.
Yeah.
If she felt I caught her all the fucking time, every time. And now when she hits the floor, she's got to do it at 20, in her 20s, and it's harder.
On the other side of the country.
On the other side of the country, and you have to let them just... So with Darby, and I still don't do it as much as I should, but I try to let her fail.
Yeah.
It's hard as a parent. I mean, you're supposed to. It's tough love and blah, 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 but you're supposed to, I guess. And, I love that my kids have my sense of humor, I think. Out of it's funny. I talk about my dad meeting those folks who knew my dad, and the sense of humor was, nature, and not nurture. And with the girls, it's probably both, I guess.
Yeah.
With Ryan, it's totally nurture. She has different bio dad, but I watch my little one get my sense of humor. I watch my little one. I show her things and play music for her, and she gets it.
So great.
And she's, she likes this. She likes, crap music too because she's a kid and that's what's pop. But she can get into it. Oh my God, there was a video I posted last week about Springsteen.
Yeah.
And having my kids sit on I took Ryan or Darby. I took both. I took Ryan to see Bruce, and I don't know if she ever got it. I took Darby to see Bruce when she was like a year old, and I told you that story too about the bitches in front of me.
So awesome.
Who didn't pay? I didn't pay to hear your kid, goo-goo all night. Oh, I'm sorry. You're barren. This must be hard for you. I was just a dick.
So
oh, I'm sorry. Her and her girlfriend, and I tipped my soda over on its side so it could slowly drip into her fucking purse all night.
Yeah,
that's we'll talk about vengeance and grudges next week.
Did you marry Moses? I think your Red Sea was parted.
Ooh, snappy. So I played this Bruce video for Darby, the one of him learning. You never can tell by Chuck Berry.
Yeah, I love that.
And last
we
week,
talked about that last week.
But yes, this weekend there's a video out now about Bruce bringing this kid on stage in Brisbane, Australia, and the kid sings "Growing Up" with him. And this same kid got up on stage when he was younger and sang "Waiting on a Sunny Day" when he was like 5, 6, 7. And now the kid's like 13, 14. His dad obviously is a good parent, keeps taking him to Bruce shows, keeps getting in the pit. So this year they're doing Growing Up, and Bruce's like, you know the song? Yeah. You know it on guitar? Yeah. And he pulls the kid out of the audience. This plays all over the internet. And the kid knows how to play Growing Up, and he sings Growing Up with Bruce, on stage. Cool. And Bruce gives him first thing I did, when I figured out how to play guitar, more important than learning chords, I learned how to pose, how to look good. And he taught the kid how to rock, how to pose, strike a rock pose. And watching Darby watching that with Darby this week, I sat her on my lap, and we watched this video on the internet. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I got to be a coach at school for her, for an event she was doing, and I got to, be over at the swim club in the summertime and kind of be around the pool a lot with her. The summer I was unemployed, got to spend the whole summer at the pool with my kid. And that's just now that I'm back to work and working, bell to bell, it's that you can't do that anymore.
You work a lot of hours now.
I don't work at all.
Well, I mean,
I know, but I look busy for a lot of hours every day.
Maybe that's what I mean.
I should work harder. We all should. But yeah, I'm here a lot, and I don't have the free time that I used to with her.
Yeah, but you had it during those best years, dude.
I did, yeah. But they're all the best years.
I know, but
I know.
There's a little bit of formative, especially as she bounces over into the age she's at now. Obviously, I don't want to talk about some of the personal things, but her growing up, right? You're there at the right time, and I think that's pretty badass.
It's a blessing. It's a great thing, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
As a parent, I guess you're supposed to, be a hard nose when you have to, and be a confidant when you need to, and provide always.
Right.
You talk about you said you're selfish, but I know that's not true. We do without for our kids. Everybody should.
I'm a little selfish.
I'm a little selfish too, but
and your 12 Harleys and your 19 guitars.
I got 5 guitars and 1 Harley. My wife's got her own Harley.
Living in your
but my kid's got whatever she wants.
No, I know.
I know.
I'm giving you crap.
No,
Come
I know.
on.
I know, buddy. I know. I got to work harder for her. It's easy to give her the things right now, but I got to give her the things that matter. I got to make sure I am able to give her the college education she deserves. Maybe make sure I'm able to give her, the wedding she deserves. I got 2 weddings coming. I got to work harder.
That's some seriously old-fashioned thinking
shit.
there, buddy.
I know.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
are you sure you're not a conservative?
Half of me. I mean, no, I'm a bleeding heart fucking liberal, man, until the day I die, because I think everybody deserves the same shit I have.
Yeah.
And not because
it's a chance to have your phone interrupt every week.
I'm sorry. I got to do this. Can I take this real quick? Pause it.
The Spike and Jones podcast is graciously sponsored by Justin Richards, founder and principal at Team Richards Realty Group in Bellevue, Washington. When the average agent you meet on the street sells fewer than 4 homes a year, experience matters. Justin and his team rely on more than 30 years combined experience, multiple financial market up and down swings, and hundreds of properties sold when advising their clients on their next sound investment or pricing a home for sale. Their goal is always very simple. Achieve the best home price results in a time frame that suits your needs, all with the least amount of stress to you as a buyer or seller. For more information, visit teamrichardsrealty.com. That's TEAMRICHARDSREALTY.com or call Justin Richards at 425-765-8088. And now, on with the podcast. So I know we don't remember where we were, but we were talking about being parents and the value of that. And you were talking about your beautiful daughters.
Yeah, and
sitting on your lap.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Bruce story, and and you give we're talking about sacrificing for your kids, and you said you're selfish, and I don't think that you are.
Yeah.
You have to be selfish. It's a self-defense mechanism. To be so selfless. I don't know how you can be the person you're supposed to be if you're completely selfless. You have to find that balancing act, and I guess that's what parenting is finding that balancing act between what you want to do for them, what you have to do for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a weird podcast, and I know it. Where people come to laugh, and then this one hasn't given that in any way, shape,
like
or
to laugh
form.
at me crying.
Well, fuck, I know I do, but I can't believe everybody else has a sixth sense of humor like I do. But the parenting it's a great topic because we're both so passionate about it, and we have experiences to draw from, and we'll be real for you.
Yeah.
But God, parenting's the greatest fucking gift you can get. As far as being a stepdad, it's you get all these, oh, stepdad, step up, and I'd say all that bullshit. And while it's all true, it's a fucking gift, man. It's the best thing I ever got. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah,
was being a parent. We had Valentine's Day just rolled around last month, or this month. By the time you hear this, will be last month. Valentine's Day rolled around last month, and I gave Melissa a card, and it was one of the things that was, thanks for making me a dad. Wow. Of all the things you and I share as partners and lovers and, husband and wife, making me a dad was the greatest thing anybody ever fucking did for me.
Yeah.
Because nothing, I've been able to have fun, and I do a job I love, and I play with a band, and people tell me how great I am, and yada, yada, yada. I get the audio reach around every time I walk out the door, and it's egomaniacal, fucking crack.
Yeah.
But the greatest thing I have is my daughters. My nephew, my niece.
Yeah.
I
totally understand.
It's fucking, it's everything.
Yeah.
My best uncle never had kids. We talked a little bit about, when you lost your dad. I've told you about my Uncle Tom who moved here.
I love that name.
My Uncle Tom, and he was my mom's oldest brother and never had kids. So my brother and I were his kids. And when his wife passed away after a 10-year fight with cancer, we went back
10
for
years?
10 years. She was a nurse. She had sinus cancer, which is a death sentence. And the doctor's like, well, we'll try
by
this.
Your brain, right?
We'll try this. We'll try that. And she's like, no, you won't try anything. You'll do this and you'll do that. And she says, you napalm my ass and you give me everything you got because I want to live through this. And she did. She had 10 good years. Wow. But then cancer, as it always does, finds a, cancer is a chess
Insidious.
game. It's a chess game.
Yeah.
It finds out what works and
it's body mold.
It is. Cancer finds out what beat it and then adapts to beat that.
Yep.
So that he lost her to cancer. And when we went back for funeral, he's like, I'm moving out there with you guys. He goes, I've spent too much time away from you. You're on the wrong coast, and I want to see you guys, so I'm moving out with you guys. Yeah. And Tom came out here, and God love him, bought a Harley, and we did shit. Yeah, hell yeah, we did shit together, and we, had a blast. And he came and saw my band, and he met a girl and fell in love.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, my uncle was a serial marrier. He had to be married. He had to be with somebody.
I'm kind of that guy.
That's okay. I think Tom had 3 divorces.
I love you, honey. I really do.
Tom had 3 divorces, and and the last lady, Marlene, was just an angel, and she was with him till the last day. He they moved in together, and we lost him at her place. And you talk about being there with your dad at the end. I remember going to see Tom at the end and knowing that okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Have
you ever witnessed anybody pass away?
No.
The moment?
No.
It's an amazing thing. Seen it twice.
I imagine
you
it's
literally feel them leaving the room.
No, I imagine there's a peace that comes with being there.
Yeah.
I imagine, and I know it's going to come for me at times because I've been lucky. I mean, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, I lost my uncle, but I've been lucky. I know a lot of people that aren't here anymore, but there's so many people in my life that still are.
Yeah.
I kind of thought about that the other day. My kids. I had my daughter when I was 40.
Yeah.
She's going to be relatively young when I kick out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
I think how I feel.
I
was 47.
I know. So God love you. You got babies at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have a fucking salad, man.
Yeah,
I am. To 'em.
Oh, so this is going to tell you. So you finish your thing, and then I want to tell you a little story.
I got nothing. I'm bloviating here. I'm telling you that music
nice
shapes
50-cent word.
Music shapes your moral compass. Bullshit. I got more of that for you. I mean, this is.
It's a plethora, a myriad, a cornucopia.
It's a veritable fucking cornucopia. We're gonna have a cotillion later. It's gonna be great. So we're talking about parenting.
Right.
It's fucking God's gift. You want to believe there's a Lord? You're a parent.
Yeah.
Look in your kid's eyes. You doubt there's a higher power? Look in your kid's eyes and make that fucking claim, you moron.
Yeah.
I'm judgmental.
I love that. It's so extreme. I love it.
There are some things that are just fucking true or false. There's a lot of gray area in the world, but there's some things that are black and fucking white.
Yeah.
When you take on the role of parent, it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't know you've been loved until you don't know how much your parents loved you until you have kids.
Yeah.
And that's the God fucking proof right there. Sorry about the F word there, boss.
No, to me, that's like the whole, again, without getting religious here, but that's whole God's love for the church. I mean, if you think about it, if you believe this, and I get it. A lot of people are going to be listening to this. They don't believe in any of this crap. But I don't
know if I do either.
But if you
hedge my bets.
Yeah, but if you believe in a creator, then to me, you would have to hope and believe he's not like the God in Eric the Viking who just hates everything, but he's actually like a decent cat who made you in his own image and loves you, right?
Yeah.
Because when I look at my kids, I have 6 children, and I can't imagine, like, they could do no wrong. They've upset me. My older children, I have 2 generations of children. And they've upset me to pretty much the edge, right? And yet, again, it's like that prodigal son, right? Your child comes back to you, and you're just like, it's okay. It's cool. All I care is that you're here, you're alive, you're still special and wonderful, and I adore you. And that's how I feel like God feels about us. Yeah. So it's interesting. You were talking about, step parenting. And even though I haven't had the experience of being a step parent, in some ways, I almost feel like I am, and here's why: I'm remarried to an incredible woman, definitely the love of my life, my favorite woman in the whole world. She's beautiful and funny and weird, and it's awesome. I mean, she's so weird, dude. She's so weird, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And again, multicultural family. She's Japanese, and so I've learned I'll never know enough about her, right? I mean, we always have something new to discover, new words, new, cultural misalignment. I mean, there's all this weird stuff in our relationship. But because I'm remarried and I have all of that new dynamic, when she came into my life, I already had 3 older children. And she helped parent them and raise them because they ended up living with us when I went through that first divorce. And so she raised them, but not having parented them from birth, if you will. Right. She came in, to bat cleanup in a way, right?
Oh yeah.
And cleanup is literally the thing, right?
Dude, I believe me. I was raised by a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she came in kind of parenting like I parented. In other words, my older children had basically 2 dads who just were like, no, you can't have that. Yeah. You don't get to do that. And, it was never go talk to your mother. It was just no. And then she'd be like, no, you know what I mean? And she's obviously a woman, but she had a sort of a feminine touch to it, but we both kind of parented them like men. And so the kids grew up in this sort of odd dynamic, the older kids. They came out of it wonderfully. Yeah. And they're great kids, and I adore them tremendously. But having this second generation, to me, almost makes me feel like I'm a step parent, because I have learned, oh my God, I not only did I not do anything seemingly right the first time around, but it feels so different. And it's not that I love them more. It's not even that I love them differently. It's just new.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm new, right? We know this whole, at least science tells us that every 7 years we're physical new person, right? New skin, new, you know what I mean? Our body sloughs off every 7 years. We're always new, refined, renewed. And
dust comes from.
Yeah, I really feel like I am a completely just a different person, completely. And so even though I have memories of parenting, I don't really have a grasp on what I was doing.
Okay.
And now, so as a new parent again, it's this weird cross between, like, it almost feels like they're my grandkids. Because I'm so much older.
Right.
I was so much older. I was 22 when I started the first time. I was 45 when I started
that's a generation,
the second.
brother.
And that's
Yeah.
craziness.
Absolutely.
And so, but the cool part is even though they have, you know, they really are half brothers and sisters, if you will. Yeah. There's none of that crap.
No,
we never even went down the road of this is your stepsister or half sister or any crap. It's just this is your sister. And it's so much fun to watch my older children come over and play with their little brothers and sisters.
Isn't it the coolest thing?
It's so much fun to watch.
You know, yeah.
And it's so adorable. And so I mean, like my last story, I'll just end with this. I'll keep it really simple. I realized recently, again, that, wow, I'm kind of overweight. Yeah. I'm not fat, but I'm definitely soft in all the wrong places, right? Yeah. And I just thought, you know, I got to make some changes. It wasn't a New Year's resolution. I just, screw this. I'm tired of feeling like crap.
Right.
And so I've been really kind of hardcoring it lately with my diet. I mean, I do have a few exceptions maybe, but for the most part, I'm pretty low carb. And anyway, I've never been a big fan of yoga, but I've always recognized yoga as being the one exercise you could do pretty much anytime, anywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's so it's so high impact and low impact at the same time. Mm-hmm. It makes you sweat like crazy, but it doesn't necessarily wear you out. You feel good afterwards. Okay. So for the past couple weeks, I've been getting up in the morning and doing yoga first thing in the morning. Well, this week is vacation, whatever you call week, you know,
winter break.
Midwinter break.
We got it too.
And so my boys are sleeping, but my daughter always wakes up and she comes in and she watches me do yoga. I don't know why she wants to.
Because it's funnier than the cartoons.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, she usually grabs my iPad because we have this learning program on there that she loves. I mean, which is great. She's an advanced child, and she reads the second grade level, and she's in kindergarten. I mean, she's badass. Oh, yeah. And so she's doing the reading thing, and I'm doing the yoga. And so day before yesterday, I was in one of my weird downward dog with my leg up in the air poses, and I just happened to look over at the bed, and my daughter is doing it right along with me.
That's freaking awesome.
And I just look at her, and my daughter, you've never met her, but her hair comes down to her knees.
Oh shit!
So she's 5, and her hair comes to her knees. So she's like my little Crystal Gale.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's down there. Yeah. And so I look over there, and all I see is Cousin It. Yeah. Just this pile of hair, and this little girl with a little butt up in the air and her one leg over. And I go, Cadence, what are you doing? She goes, I'm helping you. Like somehow that right. Yeah, I'm participating, and then I just, you know, she kind of fell down over and tipped over on the bed. And I go, are you okay? And she goes, I'm fine, Daddy. I love this. And I go, what do you like it? And she goes, because it's with you. And I was like, there it is.
And your dad smiled down on that too, you know.
Yeah,
he did, man.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry to throw another tissue bomb at you there, my friend.
This is my chance to gasp on the way out.